What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, author of the Smartphone Millionaire book, How to How to Invest in People, Businesses, and Real Estate from the Palm of Your Hand. I'm excited to do this show this afternoon. I just had a ton of calls today, and they were all quite comical. So, if you don't know who I am, it's your first time on the channel. My name is Erica Williams. I've been tirelessly working for many years. I used to deliver pizzas and be an apartment manager during the daytime. And I've worked my way all up to several real estate deals across North Carolina, South Carolina, Detroit, Cleveland, now Texas, and have various trucks and various companies with other people under me, all kind of stuff. So if you needed to get some credentials, there you go. There are your credentials. Anyway, you guys, so today I really want to talk about a couple things, and we're going to wrap them all up in the Freedom Friday Bowl. Okay, I got my apologize in advance shirt, because I'm going to say things you don't like. I'm in my office and I don't care. All right, so starting off, let's go ahead and kick it off. Everybody drop your seat state in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen because we have to. And it's super interesting. StreamYard is starting to do a lot of cool things. But we're going to kick it off with our favorite guy. No, not this one. We're going to kick it off with Mr. Morgan James. Here we go. This is why cancel culture does not work. It will never work. And if you try to apply it to people and businesses, people will just shock you every day. Now, why are people so aggressive when it comes to cancel culture? Because we think, I'm going to make you lose your job. I'm going to make you lose your standing in society. I am going to shame you. Because back in the day, that's all it took was some shame. And you would get back into accurate behavior, what we wanted you to do. You'd act like you had some sense. Now, prime example, I'm not going to go into all the details of this, but Morgan Wallace is a country music star. Now, country music has had lots of bad press on how they're dealing with women the past 3 years in music, how they've dealt with minorities who've been great singers, great songwriters, kind of pushed to the back. You've had basically people say, you know, country music started with Black people. This is partly true. There's ways we can go about this, but you can go look it up. Now, we've always called Nashville Mafia, because they have historically, you know, put people down, put their careers down, banned people for not wanting to conform and sign over their music rights. If you thought Berry Gordy was bad to the Barge family, you need to Google what's going on in country music. They've arm twisted a lot of people into giving up their music rights. Now, here's a prime example. In this fake, we're going to act like we're woke and we care. Morgan Wallace had a weekend where apparently he was acting a monkey fool and calling someone the N-word and drunk and doing all kinds of stuff. Now, instead of them saying, hey, you know, old boy need to go to a drunk place and get some drunk counseling or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Get some help. They pulled out we're going to ban him. Someone said it's hard. Can you guys hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know. Someone's already complaining about horrible audio. You guys want everybody to kiss your butt and give you perfect audio and free video. Go ahead and put a 1 in there if you can hear me just fine. If it's horrible quality, just go ahead and just exit out the video. Have a great life. I've got a headset on. I've got the door closed. If it's a problem, just leave the video. How about that? That's your choice today. Okay? Because we don't have our other headset. So, can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better now? All right. So long and the story short, we don't have all our sound panels on in the office, and you know, if you got Cricket phone service or T-Mobile or Boost, that's not a problem. Now let's go ahead and go back to what I'm saying. So of course they go, we're gonna suspend him. We're going to ban him. We're gonna do all these things. So guess what happens when they do that? Because people don't like it when you cancel somebody, even though this artist is not even well known, even if this artist is not even that famous, like nobody knows who he is. Right now, you have him being he has 7 of the top 10 songs on top 4 albums on Apple Music of all genres. What does that mean? That means that so many people, excuse me, in the past 24 hours went up and bought his music, in the past 24 hours, that it pushed him up to the top of all genres. Now, this is what people did. People essentially went home. They saw an article about someone saying the N word, right? They got mad and they said, you know what? Oh, y'all gonna suspend him? I'm gonna throw my $2 at a song of his that I might not never even listen to and pay for it, right? I'm gonna put my $2 to $5 to maybe $10 max anger at cancel culture to his efforts. So guess what? Now this guy who probably has maybe, I mean, let's just be really honest. Let's say 5 million people felt that way, and 5 million people spent $10. $50 million was made in a 48-hour window. And this is what I tell you when people say, oh, it's bad press. You know, no press is bad press. Say what you want about Greg Cardone. He's come out of this stronger. And I'm going to even go a step further. Somebody can be mad at me, but I don't care. Jay Morrison has come out of this kerfuffle stronger, still going. You cannot counsel someone who has a falling. You have a anger in America where you're not going to tell me what to do, right? You're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to tell me who I can listen to. I'm going to tell you who I'm going to listen to, right? So you have that in this culture already, very angry, don't like to be told, how dare you try to tell me what to do.
Can y'all hear me better now? Can you hear me better now? Put a one in the comments if you can hear me better now. I forgot my headset wasn't on in the button. I'm so sorry. The button was over here flashing. I'm like, why is this button flashing? Anyways, can you hear me now? Put a one in the comments. I apologize. Put a one in the comments if you can hear me better. Okay. Is it better or is it worse? I was trying to figure out why this button's flashing over here. I was getting mad. Anyway, listen. I can't. I don't care. Listen, I don't care. I'm gonna start. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start getting some of y'all out of here. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just start deleting some of y'all off the channel. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't need it. I don't care. I don't need your coins. Okay. Anyways, long and the story short, this right here is why you can't cancel people, because all they're gonna do is come out stronger. Because guess what? It's called economic fight. We got a lot of people out here angry, protesting, standing in front of buildings, cutting up, going, I'm protesting you. It does not matter. If you don't have money and you are not putting money on his tab, it does not matter. Okay? It does not matter. It doesn't matter. So again, this whole I'm gonna counsel you, all it does is make that person stronger. All right. Prime example, I can name off 5,000 things Joe Biden's done wrong this week, but guess what? Because you've already made the decision up here, you've already decided, well, what you call it's bad. Then it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what anybody says. You'll go home at night, as Diamond David says, and you'll agree, like, man, yeah, he bad. And you'll just be right back at it, because you can't let someone else be right. That's all there is to it. You cannot live at night with the thought of someone else might be right. That's why you have people coming here and argue with us all the time. So anyway, let me go on to the next one. I apologize. This is another person that's not going to get any problems from cancel culture. Tokyo, and this is kind of funny to me as a woman, and as Tokyo Olympics head says, women talk too much in meetings. This man is old as dirt, y'all. And anytime people show me a man that's over 70 or 80 years old, I'm not going to argue with him. He's lived an entire different life than majority of people. So here comes this guy, and he is in the Tokyo Olympics, where they really don't deal with women in the workplace. There's countless horror stories of women coming to work, being the highest ranking accountant, and someone called them upstairs to pour tea for people. And they're making a ton of money. Okay. So look, you're dealing with a very patriotic, a very manly culture that's dying, the way of the samurai over there. And so again, research shows that most women don't speak up at meetings, don't speak up at a lot of stuff. But this is the thing, right? Oh, look, we have another one. No worries. We're just going to keep getting y'all put out. Y'all have a great day. Anyway, so apparently now I've hit a new level of recommendation on Skynet. Thank you guys for hitting the channel. Put a 1 in the comments right now if you like the content, because we get new haters every day. Welcome to the channel. God bless you. Okay. You can't cancel someone who has a following. Now, prime example, your grouping can push you up higher and higher. Who is this? This is Tabitha Brown. Tabitha Brown was on Facebook saying, it's your business, baby. Do what you want. Very relaxing, very comforting. I'm going to do a whole YouTube video about this year, especially 2021. It's going to be a year. And I made a joke off of Rebecca Lynn Pope saying it, a platform for healers. But if you're a woman or a man and you're talking in a soothing voice, a reassuring voice, a calm voice, you can do it, right? There's a guy on TikTok called Korean Dad, right? Korean Dad. He's literally an Asian man who's going around saying really encouraging things. And why are people responding and giving him millions of subscribers and millions of views all over the world? Because in that culture, historically, it hasn't been very cuddly friendly. This is a new generation of dad, right? So Tabitha Brown, when I talked to you guys about her when she was on Facebook, she had a support button, support the Facebook channel basically for $5 a pop. Well, I think it was $15 a pop or something like that, 5 or 15. Well, we looked up and over 20,000 people had signed up to be monthly supporters of her Facebook. So 20 times $5 is what, right? You're talking about $100,000 coming in a month in LA. Well, then it goes from there to people just sending in packages and gifts every single day, right? Sending them in. So then she gets so much attention because of the calm, soothing voice, that good ideal, that now Ellen's picked her up, right? Because Ellen was the queen of nice until we found out Ellen wasn't, right? But you can't even cancel Ellen, who's accused of being a horrible person, among other things. We won't go down that rabbit hole. That even Ellen made a comeback. Okay? I want you to understand, cancel culture doesn't work. You can be on here on YouTube making hundreds of videos because you're mad with some man or you're mad with some woman, and you are already violated the 48 laws of power. If you read the 48 laws of power, if someone's above you and you're attacking them, you're attacking them, and you're attacking them, and you're attacking them, and then they finally say something to you and you're lower, you've won. Now, what did you win though? You won a bunch of miserable, angry people who are mad at the first guy, and they're not going to spend money with you, right? Here's why. Because they were burnt by the first guy. So now they're coming to you angry because of the first guy. And a pack of people, you ever heard of saying misery loves company? That's where that comes from. So now you got a pack of miserable, angry people. Yeah, we're mad at that guy. What are we doing about it? Prime example, the police in New York who pepper sprayed a 9-year-old girl. It clearly, like, have been put on the radio. You're looking for a 9-year-old girl. Hey, you're looking for a 9-year-old girl. Gets there, sees her. This is a 9-year-old girl. Yeah, you know what we're going to do? We're going to pepper spray her and close the door. A child? And the police chief is like, I can't even justify it, but suspends them. Why? Because those parents have no power. They have no economic power. That's just all there is to it. They don't have any economic power. They don't. Mom's a mental case, fighting with the father, wanting to stab people. So the child's crying out for the father, because we all know in some situations, it's the mom that's the problem. It's not the dad. Give the custody to the dad if the mom is unfit and mentally unhealthy. But that's another conversation for another day. Now, I brought this up to segue into this. What kind of future are we creating for men in America? Now, You're going to say, Erica, what? I want you to pay attention. China is promoting education to drive to make boys more manly. Now you're going to say, well, Erica, what does that have to do with anything? China has a country where the numbers are uneven for women and men. They're missing about ideally 50 million Chinese women, and they're calling their cultural single branches. What has happened, and many people have studied it, is you have these people who only can have this one child, even though there's several stories of families who have 5 and 6 girls that they picked up out of the side of ditches in the road. They even documented in China in the 80s and 90s where they had death places where they just let their children starve to death, right? And this started this big adoption out of China and Japan and Korea in the 1980s and 1990s. But it did something to the society. The children that were left, because you could only have one, you babied that child. You didn't let that child get dirty. You didn't let that child play sports. You didn't do a lot of things. And China started noticing they had all these young men who could not fix anything, who could not repair anything, right? That were very spoiled, right? So Korea, suffering from the same issue, but less, they started making the mandatory, the guys had to do 2 years in the military. By the time you were 30, you had to do your 2 years. You pick your time, but you got to do your 2 years in the military. And Korea even said it was to beat out some of the spoiled nature that we've created by the one-child policy. Okay? Now you see this. Now, why is China doing this? Because China is sending a lot of these people where? To Africa. Right? As standing army, as workers, as investors in those countries, right? China sends a ton of people here in America for what? Education, right? To start businesses. So what's happening is you're having to make tougher people because they're going out in an environment that's tougher. They're not going to go into America and start businesses with a soft pushover attitude. You're not going to be able to go to Africa and again, right now, what are they having in problem in Africa? Is some of the workers are like, I live in a shoebox. I work all day and night. I'd rather stay here in Africa and marry this African woman. This is countless stories. You can go look it up for yourself. They had one guy, he's living in a hut, and he's like, I'm basically outcast. They won't let me work because I won't go back. And I have a child. Well, of course, his parents, who are elderly, they look at it on Skype. They do there's a whole news. You can go see the BBC of this article. They do a whole video on Skype. And the parents are like, look at the baby. It looks Asian. Who cares? And people are like, you don't care? You don't care he's with this black woman and he really can't come back? And his parents are like, he's our only son and he's 45 and we have no grandchildren. They're effectively a dead family without that black woman and that little baby they just had. That's a boy. So, yes, I have a cold. It's not the Rona. What that's telling you is they're realizing that this environment they've created, and it will take forever to undo. Even if you import Japanese and Vietnamese and Korean women into China for the next 30 years, it still will be uneven by huge numbers. Okay. What are we going to have to do with these people? Okay. So I'm just saying, compare America right now versus China, who's already been down this road and knows having a bunch of soft hand men ain't going to work. This ain't going to work. Okay. Now you're going to say, Erica, what does this have to do with you talking about economic wonders and all this other stuff? Well, let me show you. Right now, long-term unemployment is close to Great Recession records. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because a lot of people, and I think Glenda did a video earlier today talking about 1.3 million people. I couldn't exactly find it. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I've noticed in the Reddit forums, in the Quora forums, where people are saying, well, I'm going to apply anyway just to see if I could get something. Now, think about that. You've been unemployed. You've been doing, Uber, Lyfts, and Eats and delivering food here and there, but not consistently. And you're going to try anyway to get unemployment just because you're going to see. Trust me, people are out there doing that. We make jokes all the time about Atlanta scamming. These people are scamming on this unemployment. I'm gonna bring her on the channel and we're gonna talk about it. But Credit Irene, famous Credit Irene, father said, "Hey, you know, when I saw your aunt, she looked really healthy." He said, "Oh, that's interesting." Well, Credit Irene found out because her aunt applied for unemployment with her name and her identity and had got money off of it, about $5,000-$6,000. She posted on Twitter. People gonna be scamming. And when I said in the video that you're gonna have credit repair companies make a lot of money, it's gonna be people scamming left and right. And when they're scamming, people are gonna get hurt. That's their family, that's their friends, that are children who are under 15 that don't know what's going on, and they're going to try to go get an apartment or a house, and guess what? Somebody already got it in your name. Diamond Dave did a great talk about it. This has been happening for years. I know someone personally, and I don't think she'll watch the channel. I'm not really worried about it. Her sister got a divorce, and her sister has never really had a lot of money. But then all of a sudden, her sister had money, and they were like, something ain't right. Come to find out, her sister had used all three of her children identities to get credit cards, and she had ran up over $180,000 in debt. And I'm gonna just say it, it's a white woman, and she was married to a black military man, and he said, man, she was acting weird. She didn't even request more child support. She didn't even request anything. It was weird. So now we've got the kids who, one is playing football in college, and his coach is like, hey, we got to come talk to you. Come to find out, hey, man, this is what you got to do. If you want to keep playing football here in Texas, you got to file a police report against your mama. Or not, pack your bags. Guess what he did? Filed a police report against his mama. He's got a sister. She's just starting college. She's trying to get a student loans. They go, hey, we got to talk to you. Shows here you got 180,000 in credit cards. And now let me be very clear. Each child, she ran up about 180. So this woman hasn't been working for 5 years since she got divorced. Been going on vacations, been living life, been shopping, and everybody's like, how is this possible? Okay. So they told the kid, listen, honey, you're going to file a police report against your mom. The girls, I don't want to file a police report against my mom. I don't want to do it. Well, honey, how are you going to finish school and be a nurse? To get qualified for all this stuff, you're trying to school loans and books and an apartment and a car. You're going to have to file this report against your mama. Third child is still in high school. The father came in from his military news destination and said, you're going to give me my son. We've already proven you're out here acting crazy. I'm going to take the youngest boy with me, back with me to Georgia. You can stay out here in Texas doing foolishness, but we're going to take this one back to Georgia. It doesn't matter if he takes the child back to Georgia. The mom's already racked up their credit card on the children's identities. And my mind is like, how does a 15-year-old have 180,000 in credit cards? It is what it is. So now they're going to have to spend the next 2 to 3 years getting their mom stuff off their credit. Now, this is the option they were given by the Social Security Administration. Come down here. We're going to give you a new Social Security card. And then you'll have to take it to your father to get a new military ID card, because you get to keep those military benefits till you're 26 years old now, because your father's still in the military full time. And they said, oh man, I got to go get a new social. I got to get these kids. We're talking to them and they're sitting there like, so I got to get a new Social Security card. Gosh, that's so much work. Not realizing that their mom has ruined their future economically for at least 10 years. They're going to always have to be telling people, well, this is what happened. This is what happened. I have a police report. We're literally arm twisting these children to go get, the Social Security Administration is going to give you a new Social Security number. Go get it. Just go down there and go get it. Oh man, I don't know. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life, because one, you love your mother. Two, you want her to get some help. And three, these kids are just starting life. Nobody at 18 and 20 wants to be mad at their mom. Nobody at 15 wants to be mad at their mom and don't understand what she's done. Now, she white and the daddy black. You know I was going to bring it up. But anyways, the point of the story is it's sad. And, you know, this is going to be a normal story you hear more often. Several people, when we did the credit repair partnership earlier, a couple of years ago, half the people we were dealing with, oh yeah, something happened. Someone stole my identity. Oh no, someone stole my child's identity. Oh, my sister or my brother used my name on something. This is going to be very common. It's going to be very common. So this unemployment numbers, I don't believe them. The reason I don't believe them is a lot of people have been sitting home for years And they think because, hey, they throwing PPP out the window, they throwing unemployment out the window, I'm gonna have to just get me some money. So I don't believe some of these numbers. That's all I'm gonna say. But again, pay attention. A lot of these people moving back in with their parents. You see these food lines, and I'm gonna tell you why. Now, I was going to write on this article that 7 million people were coming to America. Now, let me break these numbers down for you because I think you guys are going to think I'm being dramatic. Right now, Trump left, and Trump had slashed emissions of people coming from foreign countries, which we as Americans love. Biden now plans to open up to 120,000 people. Now, everybody going to say, well, Erica, 120,000 people a year ain't that bad. Now, times 10 years, let's say it takes, years for them to undo what he's done. That'll be 1.2 million people. And people say, well, Erica, that's 10 years. That's not too bad. No. Let's talk about chain migration. People don't understand. Melania Trump's parents were in America for 20 years undocumented. And people are like, well, her husband is Donald Trump and he had all this money. No, this is very common. People will have up to 12 family members, brother, sister, cousin. First, it usually goes your mom, your dad, your brothers, and your sisters. An immediate spouse can come. And so they call it the chain migration of 12. Usually on average, when they research it, especially here in Texas, a lot of Indian Americans bring extended family. I remember a guy I went to college with in North Carolina. All he wanted to do was become a cop. But his family was like, hey, we're going to hook you up with this girl from overseas, and we're going to fill out this form, and we're going to vouch for her brother coming to America to go to college. Now, our friend was like, I don't even want to do this. Like, I just want to go be a cop in Raleigh. You know what I mean? Like, he was so Americanized. He was like, I really don't want to do it. And they're like, they bring her over, and she's so pretty that he's like, okay, I'll do it. Okay. So he's already signing documentation that he clearly didn't understand, but understood enough that her family was only going to sign that paper for him to marry her if her brother could come to the United States to go to school. He don't know that man from Adam. He just know he got a pretty girl. Okay. So when you talk about 120,000 people, and let's say they all love them, every single person brings 12 family members over the course of the next couple of years. That's 1.4 million people. Almost 1.5. So when you see the number 120,000, I go, chain migration. Now let's go ahead and kick it over one more to, they say Biden and Harris, but let's go ahead and kick it over to Harris. Now I want you to pay attention. This is the Business Standard. This is called thehindu.com. Who is it made for? It is made for Indian Americans and Indian family members who want to come to America. It talks about Joe Biden may relax curbs on H-1B jobs. This is in November, before the election got through, right? They said, hey, we're going to do, and their numbers are already janky. We're going to do half 500,000 from India. And on average, we're going to do 95,000 refugees annually. So not only were they going to do 500,000 H-1B visas, which will mostly come from India and some of Africa, some of Nigeria. Let's do 500,000 people times 12. That's 6 million people. So when people sit here and try to argue with me about jobs, and Erica ain't no jobs, and these people are coming for a job. They're not just coming here for school. They're coming here for a job. Do you understand what I'm trying to get you to see here? When you come on here and you want to fight with me and argue with me about going into tech, even if it's for 4 years, a lot of people in the comments are like, that seems silly, Erica. For 4 years, that's silly. That's so silly. Why would I do something for 4 years? Honey, in 4 years, you won't even be able to get your foot in the door. When Timothy Jackson came on talking about in 5 years, you won't be able to buy a house. Honey, I am in meetings with people who literally in Georgia and in Florida, there are lawsuits where hedge funds are buying up neighborhoods of 100 to 200 houses and renting them all out to people because they realize people are not paying attention. And all they see is, oh man, look over here, girl. We got this brand new house. We're going to rent this brand new house built in this brand new community. And think about it. When it's brand new, I've known people who stay in a brand new rental or property for 5 years. So by the time they dilly-dally in that rental property for 5 years, okay, dallying for 5 years and be like, we should buy our own house, baby. It's going to be too late. They're not going to live in that neighborhood. They're not going to live in that same luxury. The shininess of the new house is worn off, right? The neighborhood will have a history about it. And this is why I'm telling people, and how I've continued to tell people, get into tech. Get into one of these high income jobs where they can't tell you no. They can't turn your income down. They can't turn a lot of things down because the numbers are so high. Right? Can't do it because the numbers are so high. And so when I hear people push back against a lot of the stuff I talk about in here, I kind of laugh because I realize we're all getting to an economic mirror. The mirror of your life is coming, right? A lot of people are like, girl, you silly doing all that. And I'm telling you, I'm sitting here talking with white girlfriends, Korean, and a couple black girls getting out the military after they did 10 years. And they in their 30s now. They're like, girl, I'm about to just go sit down at the house. They have their rentals. They have their stacks on stacks. They have reoccurring income. They don't care. They don't care about none of this stuff out here. None of it. Right? Across from Apple, where Apple is being built here in Austin, we have friends who moved in that neighborhood. And I remember a girl saying, oh, yeah, I remember when the houses were $80,000 out there. The house that's recently just got sold went for $500,000. Now, people are going to go, Erica, that's no way, you lying. No, I'll pull it up. I'll pull up the data in a few weeks when it gets on Redfin and stuff like that and show you that they can, where that house is at, they're going to get in that house. They can get out of their house with their shoes on, walk across the street and be at Apple. That's the only reason that little part right there is going to be crazy numbers. The rest of that neighborhood, a lot of those houses are ugly. To me, they're not worth more than $300,000. But someone paid $500,000 because walking to work, making $180,000 a year already, was more valuable to them than having cars, living downtown Austin, living somewhere they don't care about. Walking to work is what they care about. We have 300 days of sunshine in Austin. The days that it is cold and the days that it might rain here and there, they'll drive across the street. They'll scooter across the street. You know what I'm saying? They might even let them ride golf carts across the street. I have a feeling they might put that in effect. Now, why am I talking about that? Because people are bringing up every time I see them, girl, you know, I remember when it was $100,000 over there. I'm not going to pay that money. I'm talking to somebody now about where I want to go. I'm thinking of going to Georgetown. All the rental investments I want to make is in Georgetown. All the rental income I want to invest is north of Georgetown. I've actually sat in community meetings and watched the development trap for the next 10 years going north. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go move over there and get a house up there. Oh, Erica, you want to be all the way up there? Why? Why am I going to pay $400,000 for this little baby house when I can have a behemoth house with the backyard and the river behind me for the same amount? I can always come back and buy a condo and Airbnb it out in downtown Austin. We're still talking about a 20-minute ride right now before traffic gets horrible. So the reason I bring this up, and honestly, someone's not paying attention, so I'm going to go ahead and mute you because you're not paying attention. Time out. Little time out for you. Some of y'all need to be put in timeout. Have a good night. If he comes in here talking again, go ahead and delete him, y'all. Go ahead and put him in another timeout. Okay, and so when I'm talking with people about Indian Americans here in Austin, how we had 40 brand new restaurants come out, how we've had a complete shift in Cedar Park of Indian Americans where, you know, there's 8 cars in front of a house, but the house has 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. Who in the neighborhood is going to say something? There ain't nobody to say something. Okay. So I just want you to understand that these people aren't coming to America to sit on welfare. By no means. No, they're coming out here to make good money. They're coming out here to get their foot in the door and buy real estate. Now, this segues the conversation into this. This young man right here. Now, I'm going to show you this. This millennial used scholarship money to buy property in college. Now his real estate company is worth $3.8 billion. Now, I worked in financial aid office at East Carolina University for several years. And we would talk to people about, hey, now, your payment back of your money is going to be this. And I'll very much disclose here, a freedom of information here, disclosure. I got $10,000 back every semester. School was only $1,000 at that time, and I would get back about $6,000 in the summer. I bought a Mitsubishi Lancer. I bought other items. I went on lots of great trips. I lived a fabulous life for free 99 off free scholarship money. Why? My mother was overseas in Iraq. My father had died my senior year of college. I lived a very good life. Financially, was good. Now, you talk to some of these people who try to play like, oh, these student loans are burying me. They're hurting me. They're hurting me. And you go back and you go review their history of what they did with the money. Majority of these people bought cars. Second, partly, they moved in apartments off campus. Thirdly, they bought crap. And now because they want to cry wolf, because now they're in the real world and they're having to work for real to pay it back. Oh, we should have student loan forgiveness. See, Erica, we forgive all these corporations, so we should forgive people. Even if we forgive all these people their student loan debt tomorrow, are these people going to be in any economic position to buy a house, to start businesses in America? No. Because if they wanted it, they would have did it. We read too many stories of people who wanted it and they did it, right? We read too many stories of people who go work at Papa John's for a year making $30,000 at a part-time job and pay off their student loans in 1 year. We know too many stories of people doing what they got to do. So miss me with this. And everybody's like, "You shame on you, Erica. You took the PPP. What about these people getting payouts? $1,200 is not going to change your life." I'm going to just say it. If you're a business owner with $100,000, getting $100,000 from PPP, that'll change your life. You'll keep staff employed. You'll keep lights on. You'll keep things going. A person getting a $1,200 check, Erica, you're being elitist. Okay. That's not going to change your life. Now, bringing up this article again, you can look at it. This was published May 22, 2019. Now, it kind of flew under the radar for a while, and Twitter brought it back up to life this year, actually a few weeks ago. Okay. Now, as you can see, this is Eric Wu. Now, I'm going to just put it out there. Let's go with another example as well. Ramit Sethi of I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Does everybody know who that is? Put a one in the comments if you know who that is. I can put Ramit Sethi scholarship. And he talked about it. Oops, I messed it up. I misspelled it. I took my glasses off. I should have kept them on. All right, Ramit Sethi. I Will Teach You to Be Rich. If you go read back his story, and I've told you this a lot of times, on this channel, and there's a couple Black people I talked to you about. If you get, as working in the office, if you got over a certain amount of money, we had to cut you a check and give you your money. So let me set this up right so I don't make it seem like he's scamming. If you applied for $1 million in scholarships, which you can go Google this all day and night of twins and smart girls and boys who just filled out scholarships so they got $1 million, right? Then they did what with the money? The school took a certain amount. They knew you were going to be in school next semester, so they went ahead and held some of it in a trust for next semester. Or so they say. It's a new way they do it now. Anyway, they prepaid your semester. And then they had to cut you a check legally. They had to cut you a check. They had to show you were there, had to show you were enrolled, show your grades if necessary for the next round of your scholarship, and cut you a check. So you have a lot of people, and I'm going to just say one of my friends, he graduated with honors from here in Texas, went out to UCLA. He was one of the only Black people in the doctoral class that year. There were 2 white guys, and the rest at UCLA were all Asian, various Asians. He was the only Black guy in class, and he's actually African. So he counted as multiple minorities. He got $1 million in scholarships, UCLA. Guess what he did? He bought an Airbnb rental in San Francisco. That was kicking out $15,000 a month at the highest rates. Now I think it's way less. He invested in a bunch of startups. He finished medical school and was in New York. And by the time he's in New York, several of the startups he invested in were now selling to Facebook for money. So in a 4-year window, he took that $1 million and he made it multiple millions. So again, I'm not knocking what this guy's doing. I just want you to be very clear that when I sat here and told people, instead of just taking these particular scholarships and just the Pell Grant, which was free, you didn't have to pay that back, you should be applying night and day to scholarships because we have to give you the money back. Anything over a certain amount, we had to give it to you. But people are what? Lazy. They just want to show up, chill out, party, I'm here for 4 years and then, I'm gone, right? You have to have a plan. Now, I'm not going to blame all 20-something-year-olds, but a lot of people want to go back to get a master's degree. And I'm like, why are you getting a master's degree unless your job's paying for it? Well, because it'll help me. Well, unless you're going for free, that doesn't make any sense. All right. So again, by the time he graduated, he had roughly 25 properties in 2005. So, yeah. So today he's a 36-year-old founder, CEO of a 3.8 million business startup called Open Door. I'm going to put it right here, which allows users to buy and sell their homes online. But nearly 2 decades ago, he was a college student studying economics in the University of Arizona. So anyways, let's go ahead and show it. He discovered that he collected enough scholarship money to provide him with capital to cover the roughly $20,000 down payment on a modest 3-bedroom home near his school's campus in Tucson, Arizona. Now let's walk that back. Who told him to buy a house? His parents. Now, I'm not trying to knock people's parents, but I really would love to write a couple books talking about your mama and daddy told you wrong. Okay? While you're out here living it up, pledging AKA, doing what you want to do, this boy's parents said, oh, how much you got? That's enough to get a down payment on a house. Okay? Let me just go ahead and finish what I'm saying. He then lived in the home and rented out some of the rooms. Then he used that monthly income to pay for his living costs and other things associated with school. He said the home was worth $110,000, single family with the garage, and the bedrooms he had converted into studio apartments. He rented out the 2 studios and took the rest of the home for himself. The ideal buy a home at a young age came from Woo's mother, a social worker who raised Woo and his 2 sisters as a single mother. Their father had passed away when Woo was 4 in Glendale, Arizona. Woo describes her as the most frugal woman in the world. Think about it, y'all. Think about what he just said. Then he refinanced that home, pulled out the equity, and used it to buy what? Other homes. Now, you'll find this story is very common. What will happen is you'll find somebody who bought their first house and got the foot in the door, and then they start taking what? A cash out refi. I talked to some other people a couple days ago, and I was talking to them about a cash out refi, and they were like, what? They were willing to just sell their home to get the cash out. This is part of why credit's important. This is part of why ownership is important. When you don't own anything that you can take big money out of, other than cars, that's what happens. Now, dude's 36. Now, you may say, well, dang, I'm older than 36, or I'm 40, or I'm 50, or I'm 60. That's kind of late to get started. It's never too late to get started. You just have to put a timeline on what you want to do. Best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. Second best time? Today. Now, there is the reason I showed him is because on CNBC Make It, sometimes they have really great feedback where everybody's like, yeah, that's so good. And then there's a young lady, I had her on the channel here and I interviewed her. She's Black. She paid off like $300,000 in student loans, and people called her entitled and spoiled. And when they saw the picture of her was Black, they were like, what? She's Black? Oh my God, right? A lot of people have enough anger to be mad, and that's about it. So that's, again, that feeds you back into the Morgan Wallace thing, that feeds you back into this China thing. A lot of times people are mad about stuff that they could have 2, 3, 4 years ago did something about. Now they can't do anything about it. Okay? So anyways, I'm going to read some of you guys' comments. And I just want to really thank you, Ben the Bartender, for stepping up and being a moderator today. We have to fight the culture war out here. It's 542 people in this comment section. And if you're liking the content, put a 1 in the comments. And I'm going to go over some of what you guys are talking about here. I want you to understand that I'm calling it winter is coming because what people see right now is uncomfortable. Girl, it's uncomfortable. I got to be at home and work from home. This is uncomfortable, right? Girl, it's uncomfortable at work. They're making us take a shot. Girl, this is uncomfortable because I have to go re-update my skills. Even in the last video, when I was saying in 4 years, your skills are going to be outdated, there was so much pushback in the comments. Y'all, what you knew in 2016 don't matter in 2020. It's helpful, but it needs a refresher. I know someone right now who got laid off from Dell, been there 20 plus years. And I'm like, girl, you ought to just take your skills and go here or there. she's been doing that job so long, she hasn't been getting a refresher. And so now she's taking a job at a retail location in Austin, Texas, in the middle of a tech hub. You worked at a tech place for 20 years and you should be updating your skills often. This shouldn't even be a conversation, right? And again, I'm going to address it from the last video. Someone said, Erica, you're always talking about tech. Why aren't you in it? Honey, I have 3 different companies that make $1 million. You do the math, okay? Why would I do that? Why would I step down from managing? When you get to a certain level, what you guys are going to understand is if you own the asset and you can move the asset around, even if it's not at a fast pace, you can move it around, you're fine. But you've got people out here with no asset, living at their parents' house. All they have is a car, and if they don't make the payment, the car is going to be taken away, thinking they can do what other people can do, and you can't. There's a reason it's a ladder system. I'm trying to help you skip some of the ladder and go to the 100K job, the 150K job. I bring on people to the channel to talk to you about creating a future you want to live in. But you can be hard-headed. You can go, well, I think I'm as smart as you, Erica, so I'm going to just do what you do. And you missed the whole 3, 4, 5 years of me out here working my butt off. Right? You missed that whole part. You missed the whole part where we got 20 people on staff. You missed that whole part. You missed the whole part of the other stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? Where I sold a company, bought another company. You missed those parts. Because you think you're going to watch a YouTube channel and skip over all the steps. I'm going to skip all these steps and I'm going to be where you are. Because I don't have to do what you had to do. And that's okay. Listen, we're going to lose people off me telling the truth. And I'd rather lose you from telling the truth than lying to you and let you think, hey, I'm going to start tomorrow and I'm going to just do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you can start tomorrow. And listen, listen, Tap the Brown only started this thing like 3 years ago. Okay? Right? Several of the people you see on Earn Your Leisure 2 years ago. Several of these people started 2 years ago. You hit the algorithm right. You got the right lighting. You got the nice stuff going on. You can hit it. You can hit the goal. But many of you missed the whole conversation where I said 45% of our GDP is real estate, construction, and healthcare. It's only 6% of the stock market. The stock market only has 8,000, 9,000 companies on it. We have 30 million businesses in America. When we talked about the PPP and I was showing you how several companies had 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 companies all getting $150,000 per company, what would your business look like if you had $1 million coming this year for the PPP? You're going to keep staff, right? You're going to keep open. You're going to keep knocking it. You're going to keep going. Your company's going to survive and thrive. Well, people say, well, Erica, I'm going to just be I'm going to be a minimalist. Cool. Be a minimalist. But guess what? You can only cut yourself down to the bone so long. You see all the people living in vans done got into a house, even in the middle of nowhere in the woods in the country. You see the people who were living in the cars, running the YouTube channel. As soon as the YouTube channel gives them $1,000, they run and go get an apartment. Because you can only run yourself down to the bone so long. That doesn't work long term. There's a movie coming out called Nomadland. That's what it's called. And it's an older white woman actress. I love her. She's a great actress. She was in Fargo. And she is this woman whose husband died. He worked his whole life at the factory. When the factory closed, the town kind of died. So she's in this van and she's moving around and doing seasonal work. And one day this little girl's like, well, my mom says you're homeless. She's like, I'm not homeless. I'm houseless. See, I'm houseless. There's a difference. And I'm sitting here like, did they just make a movie basically talking about van life? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Even if you look back now, the guys who all went overseas, all the passport bros, about 92% of them have moved back. I mean, I can go down hundreds of channels. All of a sudden, they quit making videos. All of a sudden, they come back and they go, hey, you guys have been harassing me in the comments and my emails. Yes, I moved back to London. Yes, I moved back to Australia. Yes, I moved back to Seattle. Right? Again, this seasonal. It's not forever. There's a guy I just shared in the, that's hilarious. I'm not broke, I'm moneyless, right? Again, you're what I say is I'm having a cash flow problem. If I owe you, baby, you ain't gonna go broke. It's coming back around. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. And so again, so there's a guy I put in the community channel, black man. I'm not knocking him. He's like, how I traveled for 5 years on $1,200. Congrats, brother. Go be free. Go travel. Go see the world. Go do seasonal work. Life's too short to not enjoy it. But let's be for real. These things you're not gonna do forever. You're not gonna loaf, is what my grandpa used to say. You're not gonna loaf around forever. Everybody wants some type of home, some type of rootedness. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Because ownership is where it's at. If you're going to live in America, any kind of long-term future, you have to have, I'm not saying you have to be like me. I'm not saying you have to go get all this money. I'm not saying you have to start businesses and have employees. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is you have to find what works for you. But you've got to be honest with yourself that we have a dark winter coming. The reason you see all these channels talking about dating and men and relationships, a lot of those people are Gen Xers. And I'm not trying to be ugly. If you're 40 to 59, figure it out. Go get some hobbies, figure it out. 40 to 59, you probably got adult kids. You got too much time in your hands. Go be volunteer in the community. Go do some stuff. Go get remarried if that's what you want to do. But again, you got people 40 to 59, Gen X, doing all these relationship channels. Some of it good, some of it bad. And I get it. But if you're not out here in this world actually getting up, asking women on dates, doing something with your life, if you're not a woman, working out, putting on clothes, going out in this real day life, you're going to wake up in 5 years and be right there where they are. 5 to 10. Something I sat down in a mastermind and I looked around and I said, where do you want to be in 5 to 10 years? Do you want to be like that woman over there with a bunch of dogs in a business? No. Do you want to be like that man over there with a bunch of dogs at the WeWork? No, we don't want to do that. You have to make some decisions. And if you don't take any action now, you're going to be hand forced to take some ugly ones later. Honey, listen. My favorite Gen Xer, Aaron Clary, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of the people are giving you warnings of what not to do, but some of them are just salty bitter. I'm not listening to people being salty bitter. Go live your life, man. I'm just going to be honest. Like, go live your life. And if you were happy, some of the stuff you'd be promoting, you wouldn't be promoting it. That's just all I'm going to say. Okay. Let me see some of you guys' comments in here. But again, you don't have to be in these careers for 40, 90 years. You have to decide. He said, don't smoke weed to start. I don't smoke. I've literally got a cold, y'all. I've got a cold. Someone said masters was the silliest thing I've ever pursued. I'm going to go back further. I know you guys are in here. Frats are like a religion. They really are. You know, if you want to do different, you have to decide to do different. I mean, again, I'm not if you're on this channel, you're 40 to 59, I'm not knocking you in any kind of way, because it's a huge part of my audience is 40 to 59 years old. But you have to make a decision. You got 2 to 5 years with good health, good back, good knees, good feet. I hear a lot of comments from people talking about their feet is bad at 50. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if y'all stand on concrete floors or what it is, but make a decision. Because, a lot of my consulting calls are like, man, girl, I'm 45. Woo, girl, what am I doing? And I'm like, all right, let's make a 5-year plan. Let's go. While you're still healthy, you're still young, you can pick up, you can move. Let's make decisions. The problem is the paradox of choice. When you have all these choices, or you think you have a lot of choices, you don't make any choice. It's a very dangerous place to be. There you go. All right, let me see if I can pull it up on this other phone. I kept the chat open for a long time. What time is it? How long have we been here? Oh, we've been on here an hour. Let me see. Okay. All right. Boom. Thank you, Skynet, for letting me. Everybody, if you love the show so far, drop a 1. Thank you for supporting the channel. Oh, thank you for suffering with the audio earlier. Thank you, Lee Turner. What up, Auntie Erica? Preach that economic gospel. Now that I am Auntie Erica, bump y'all. I am not that old. I will be Cousin Erica, but some of you are young. All right. Cancel culture is a sham for sure. Oh, for sure. I mean, like, I'm not gonna read this one exactly, but when Zimmerman killed that boy, what did they do? They coughed up that GoFundMe hard. That's why when I'm on GoFundMe, I look at stuff that I want to support. I'm like, I'll support that. If it's an injured family or for certain particular things, I'll support it because, again, your money is where your power is. All this, I'm a protest. I'm a stand outside in the street. I'm a be mad. I'm a put it on Facebook. Please share this. The one thing that disgusts me, and I'm gonna say it, is when people are like, please share this. And I'll be like, okay, what are we sharing? And there'll be some cop brutalizing somebody, beating the crap out of somebody. I'm not sharing that mess. Tell me what we're going to do. I went on Tariq Nasheed's channel on Instagram and he shared the post of the 9-year-old girl getting pepper sprayed. But he didn't put any information. He's like, look at these resources. I go, hey, don't post this unless you put city and state. So people aren't just out here raging against the machine for nothing. Of course, people are like, Erica, shame on you. You just love money. You're a chaser of money. And I'm like, because I asked the man to put the city and state in it. Now, eventually someone in the comments said, it's in New York, Erica. I said, thank you. That's all I wanted. You out here, you got people out here running around. I am mad. I am mad. No one cares. You're broke. They don't care. And again, this is something I'm going to say this. I remember listening to this man doing this speech. And he's like, how can we reach these Black youths? How can we reach these young children? And the guy said, instead of you starting these nonprofits, instead of you starting a bunch of charities, give these kids jobs. Have free summer coding classes. Have trainings where they can walk out with a certificate. When you feed somebody, when you put money in someone's pocket, that's when you touch them. Right? Now, I'm not trying to be smack talking about people on the internet calling themselves teachers. When people call me teacher, I'm like, thanks, I guess, whatever. But you want to call yourself a teacher and you're not changing anybody's life economically. That's not the business. That's not the business. That's not good for us or anybody, honestly. The way you, and be careful here. People get mad when they can't discipline people. Now, prime example. Chloe or Haley, the sisters, Chloe and Haley, was sitting on the internet and they draws. And women came out and said, hey, sis, that ain't, put your clothes on, baby. That's too much, baby. Put your clothes on, right? Because older women, ideally in your life, should be helping you not make a fool of yourself. People are like, look at those women hating. You want to put yourself out on the internet, on TikTok and all these platforms half naked, and people are going to have something to say. Does it change your economic life? No. But for her who's trying to be an actress and still looks really young, being naked on the internet is not going to help you get Disney parts in movies. It's not going to help you get auditions. Don't do that, right? So what I'm trying to say is you can only really impact people if you hurt their bottom line. That's why cancel culture doesn't work. You telling me you're going to cancel a country music star and then the next day maybe 5 million white people are like, well, you know what? I'm going to put $10 on it. That's what I'm going to do. That's true power. That man just made his record label $50 million. 24 hours. Money talks. Money talks. Okay? So I'm just saying that way. Korean dad is super nice. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up some of the earlier comments. I thought I saw Tim Pool talk about low T being high in Western males. Yes, this is true. If you Google low T centers all over the United States, they're popping up everywhere. I'd actually like to buy a franchise. I know a couple Black YouTubers who actually go get T shots. Not gonna say their names, but I know 4 now. So it's a real thing. It's a real issue. If they ever, my biggest thing is I think you should start talking about health here more on YouTube. But, I'm in the minority of it. Again, when people are like, Erica, you can't be, someone said this and I laugh. You can't be healthy. You're fluffy. You're chubby. You're fat. Boy, my blood pressure is perfect. Everything else is perfect. We don't get our blood work tested and it comes out perfect every damn time. It's called just being a little fat. That's all. But there's ways we can talk about health here on the internet that could be more helpful to our community. But I'll leave that alone. China's taking over Canadian country culture. I mean, let me just put it to you this way. When I made a joke the other day talking about at least 7 of my friends have married Asian men in the past 5 years, it's pretty right. Like they're in engineering, they have economics, They're not bad looking guys. They're nice, Americanized. One of the girls is in Korea, stationed in Korea, married a Korean guy. They're all in tech. I mean, it's not this crazy far-fetched thing. One girl's Egyptian, other girl's Sudan, married to an Asian guy. So just gonna put that out there. The selfish dragon, is that what it's called? That might be what it's called. I don't know the official term, but I know it's a lot of articles. He had a tiger mom, maybe. Boy, there's a lot of comments I missed earlier. I'm trying to go back and look at some of them. No moral fiber. Oh yeah. China's killing the oceans. Oh, well, look, we can't talk about that. I don't want to get banned. Social security number belongs to listen. Yeah. Opulence. We've all talked to the children about, it's not about hurting your mom. This is about your future. In a few years, you're going to want to buy a car, an apartment, and you're not going to be able to because this stuff is on your credit. The next president will be a Spanish person. That or Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang is running for mayor of New York. Historically, people who run for mayor of New York City or California try to run for higher political offices. Claude Anderson talking about incoming immigrants. Hey, I might try to get him on the show. Tech firms hiring. Yep, this is true. I'm not going to repeat that. I don't want to get banned. Too many sitting around waiting on handouts. This I'll agree. People better learn how to build a website, do some marketing. Let me tell you, like a website that somebody could put their name and email into and their phone number. If you don't do that, learn how to make landing pages. And I think this Saturday we have Diamond Dave talking about the stock market again and some of the companies going on out here. And then I'll be also having training for Rise of 20% on Saturday. It's important. Listen, somebody put Indians are also going into insurance business. Insurance companies are pushing for them. This is true. I'm telling y'all, pay attention to how many of these big time social media celebrities are going into insurance. John Henry Styles is just the first one I've noticed. And then I started researching it all Saturday, like, oh, there's like 10, 12 people starting insurance companies. Lemonade Insurance was started by a startup. I mean, $20 times 10 million Americans into Lemonade Insurance for $20 a month. You do the math. Hedge funds have been buying on and off for years. They know people will be renting more. See something, say something. Hey, listen. Oh gosh, there's so many here. I'm sorry I'm not ignoring y'all. Just I gotta cut it down. Somebody said I'm a mess. Sometimes. They kept deferring payments. Yep. Oh goodness. There's so much in here I missed. I apologize. Let's see. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. People say sometimes it doesn't have to do anything with money management. If you take out a loan and your bill is $500, okay, your rent's $1,000, your new car is $500. Your other thing, you can't take a job for $30. If you do take a job for $30, then you got to take a second job or start a business. People always say, well, it's your debt management. It's not money management. It is. It is. I switched out of higher education to tech because of Erica. Best decision 2020. Welcome. Thank you, India K8. Thanks for stirring game, Erica. I love it. Thank you for the $5 super chat. My company just went public today. Congrats. Tangeray. Talk to me about this public company. Meet me over at the domain. Let's go. I see there's so much in here, you guys. Sorry. There's another super chat. Other Z. I train people for railroad jobs that can pay $100K a year, but they quit because they only make $600 a week for 3 to 4 months during training. What happened to paying your dues and sacrifice? Other Z, here's the thing. I'm gonna see if I can find it here. Other Z, you know what that is about? That means they waited until they were at the economic brink of falling apart, right? Okay? Economic brink of falling apart. And then they took this job and you're paying $600 a week and it's just enough for them to hold on, but it's not enough for them to wait to get the big paycheck. There's a company that does phone training. I forgot the name of the company. It's one of the big healthcare companies. And what they do is AT&T too. They do phone trainings and you're going to get paid about $600 a week for the first 3 or 4 weeks doing the training. They say so many people quit after they get that first check that they're like, oh my gosh, they have to start all the hiring process over and over and over. Right now in North Carolina, because they shut down one of the processors and put it all to Charlotte. And if you're in North Carolina, you notice the mail has been slow this year. They're paying people, not union, can't be union and get it, regular people up to $2,000 a week at the post office in parts of Fayetteville, Raleigh, and near Charlotte, at the post office in the United States, in North Carolina. They say people will come and work a month, get $8,000 and quit. You have an opportunity to make $2,000 a week at the post office. Yes, heavy labor, moving around boxes, sorting, doing a lot of work. But that's equivalent of an engineer. And in North Carolina, that's top tier money. But they're saying people quit because they realize they're not going to be able to be union. They're not going to be able to work less. They got to take these crazy hours, overtime. But think about that. So it's not even the railroad job. It's not even about what you're saying. It's about the fact that people really think that I'm too smart for this. I could do this. I could do that. People really are out here being silly. Rod for Real Estate, tell America we have about 2 years before it'll be entirely too late for people who don't decide to level up. It will be. Right now, I am pressing hard into a couple masterminds with people who are way higher than me, and all in the effort of like, okay, hey, I'll invest in your project. You invest in my project. I invest in your project. It's a lot of that going on in there. There's even a company in Houston where the guy basically raises funds. They just go around calling people who have cash money, huge IRS returns. It's interesting when you get into some of these really higher upper level groups and the expectation of your paperwork that you need to deliver. It's interesting. Woo, Clover, mother of 5 with bad credit, in debt, close to $15,000 for business startups. Sometimes you got to risk it all. Congratulations. Hey, Joan, what this channel is about making more money, getting your life together, and mindset. Let's see here. It was on the recommendations, y'all. Skynet is recommending me. Whoop, whoop. Thanks. Yeah, there's several people in the tiny movement that are buying land. Right now, I think they're $200 and $1,000 for an hour. I think they're pretty booked up for the next 2 weeks, but go in there and look. I don't know. The links are always in the description. But Ben the bartender said he's trans financial. He identifies as a rich person, but he is not rich. I like that. I am not single. I am womanless. Ruthless rich. I actually like that. I think that one's funny. Oh, you guys are cracking me up. Okay. You guys are good. You guys come up with good stuff. Let's see. Listen, sometimes you got to. Passport Heavy's a good one. Yep. Passport Heavy, they just went overseas to Bali for 4 months, but a lot of drama was going on in Bali. You guys have good comments in here. I just can't catch them all. But yeah, I mean, again, I just want you guys to understand, like, well, thank you. Someone said I look fine. Female artists do be looking way younger. Boom. I can show you 10 jobs from 170,000 to 150,000, 250,000 in tech, and they are not cleared positions. Exactly. There's so much in here. Single girl, listen, I had to stop learning and start. So one time someone asked me in a thing, well, what books are you reading, Erica? What are you? And I'm like, dude, I'm taking action every day. Now I do get on Audible for an hour or two in the afternoons as I'm decompressing and listen to certain books, like a book a month, but I'm taking massive action. I get in the thing, we're training in the mastermind, I'm building out, trying to do a land development, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing some big stuff over here. Someone called me auntie. Stop it with the auntie. Tech pays well. See, that's the thing. King Tug, a lot of like when I brought on Lane Kawas, I'm saying his name wrong. When I brought on Lane, it's because he was an engineer. In the past 3 years, he's closed on 33 apartments and mobile home parks by connecting to who? Other engineers who are making 100, 150 and are capping out, but know they have to invest that money. All right, girl, listen. No aches, no pains. Keep it moving. You got it. Well, you technically would be a baby boomer. Gen X is 59. But hey, congrats. I train people for the real jobs that can be, again, there you go. This is what I was trying to show. But yeah, people don't think like that. That means they're so economically behind that they're like, I gotta go right now. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, Erica, I seen your ad on the Jamaican blogger channel. Ads aren't working. Let me know if they work. Anyway, that's basically what I have for y'all today. I just want y'all to understand that, you know, if you have a plan, I really want you to sit down and really write it out. If there's something you really want to do big for this year and next year, chart it out, plan it out, get in the room with people who are doing it and figure it out, because it's about to get real interesting around here. I love Indian food. I love Japanese food and Korean food. My father was born in Japan. My grandparents were stationed in Japan for 7 years. Both my dad and my uncle and my aunt were born there. Like, you know, the world is very smaller than you think, and it's going to get very interesting in a couple years. So again, if you've ever been to Germany or any of those countries and you see how embedded the Middle Eastern culture is over there, especially in France right now, like France can't even say anything. They over there tossing in the streets. Okay. But you know, it is what it is. So it's going to be a dark winter. Make sure you're raising sons and daughters that can live in this world. And if you're a woman and you want to go home, you better figure out quick, fast, in a hurry your 2 to 4 year plan. Erica, do you offer consultation and classes for real estate, credit, trucking business? Yes, I do. I offer consults. There always is a link in the description. So you can, yeah. Yeah, I did see that for Denmark. I mean, again, there's a reason I'm taking private pilot lessons. We don't have to go through TSA. We just go straight to the port. You get a car ride over to your plane or to the hangar, and you go on about your day. There's part of the reason I'm moving to Georgetown. There's a private port there. I mean, there's a lot I could talk about, but we'll leave it there. All right, you guys. This is your girl, Erica, Classic Line Blonde. We've been on here an hour and 13 minutes. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you've enjoyed it, super chat, all that good stuff. Cash App, support the channel, buy the courses and products. This is your girl. Later.